Hello again, welcome to Me. Me is about motivation, education, and engagement. Today I want to be talking about the need to move. It's about move. It still talks about change, but it's about what you do with it. And I just want to be talking about one of the books I love so much by Spencer Johnson. And the book is called Who Moved My Cheese? I'll be talking about some quotes from that book, and we can look at that a bit deeply. But it's about where you are right now. What are you doing where you are? Do you need to be where you are? And should you move from where you are? So I'll just look at some quotes. So let me just give you a bit of background about Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. It's about four characters, two mice and two little people. And it was so amusing when every time I watch the mini film or go back to the book, it amuses me how he was trying to look at the way we people complicate life, and the animals, the small creatures, they take life so easy. It reminds me of what, especially for us people that believe, or the people that know God, you think about how God, how he takes care of everything. But at the same time, he expects us to play a role. But looking at the creatures, looking at the birds, looking at life is so uncomplicated, but for us it's a bit more than that. In fact, it can be as complicated as we want it to be. I can just say it that way. Who Moved My Cheese? So there are these two characters. They made life so complicated for themselves. Him and her. They were the people that they had this cheese and they were so comfortable with it. They felt nothing was going to change it, and they were enjoying it. Unfortunately, things changed. And things changed to such an extent that they didn't realize that their cheese had gone. And by the time they came back after some time, they started complaining. Who moved my cheese? Who moved my cheese? They complained in such a way that they started getting hungry. And after then, it was only when Ha said, you know what, we can't stay here. Let's go and look out for more cheese. Unfortunately, Ha was not ready to move, and he stayed where he was. But the little people, the mice, they went on, they found other cheese, they looked at changes, and they were living. I just want to look at this. So that's the background. It's bigger than that. So if anybody wants to look at that book, it's quite a very good motivational book to read. Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. But I just want to look at some quotes that he made that I think it would be good for us to think about as we train our children, as we go to work, as we do our business, as we whatever we're doing, really. Let's think about these quotes from that book. The first one says, the quicker you let go of the old cheese, the sooner you can find new cheese. So if you're used to a particular way of doing things, and that thing is not compatible anymore, that thing is not useful anymore, you might not necessarily see it, either because of your sentiments, your emotionalism, or your just the fact that you just don't want it. You just want it. You can't let go of it. But I need to let you know that there will be a time that you have to let go of some things and move on to the next. I'm somebody that I'm not really a technical person, but I've realized that if I keep on holding on to the way I used to do or the way I used to work, I will not be as relevant as I believe I am at the moment, and the way I believe I can still be more relevant. You have to make yourself relevant in the world we live in. The world has become more competitive. The world has become so dynamic that we've got to let go of the old. the earlier we are aware of that and we can let go of it, then the better it is. If you're a parent and there's a way you have been you're used to bringing up your children, but why don't you look at other ways? How can I do this better with my child? How can I go, maybe do I need to get involved in the school? Should I become a governor? Should I make sure I go to meetings? Can I take time off work to attend these things, to make sure that I'm at reviews? How can I do this? The earlier we think, or the earlier I let go of my old cheese, the better I can get new cheese. Because if you hold on to something in your hand, there's nothing else that can come into the hand. Your hand is like this, it's a fist. Though you hold on to it, nothing else can come in. But once you let go, other opportunities can come. Whether you're a business person, whether you're a worker, so we need to keep on reviewing. Another quote is that, what do we need to let go of and what do we need to move on to? That requires you being self-reflective. That requires you thinking deep. That requires you looking around you. So what do we need to let go of? You might not know. I always say something, learning it's an ongoing thing. So you might just, maybe by watching your children, by watching a program, you're now more aware of, I actually don't really need that anymore. Is it a friend that you have around you that, okay, that might be killing your dream? Is that somebody you need to let go of? Is it a resource? Is it a training? I was looking at something some weeks ago, and I think it was about an aspect of my job, of my career, and I realized that I've been doing this for quite some time now. I need to look at it in another way. I need to maybe do some research. I might need to do some training about it. So I think for me to be able to do something better, I will have to sacrifice some time, maybe in the evening, to do a bit more reading. So that was me. I had to think about that. What about you? What are you thinking of? That what do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of? Is it something at work? Is it something at home? Is it the way I'm eating? Is it the way I'm sleeping? Is it my health? What do I need to let go of in order to look for something to hold on to? Another quote by Spencer Johnson says, "We resist change because we are afraid of change." We resist change because we are afraid of change. And that is true for so many of us. Well, it's true for me, and I'm that real. We resist it, and we can resist it as much as we can. I'll go back to the pandemic. Nobody really wanted to wear face mask. And we resisted that for as much as we could. But now we now know that face mask is not just because it's the law. It's also about protecting ourselves. It's about making sure that we are safe. It's about making sure that people around us are safe as well. I'm not saying that it's the end of and the be of our protection, but it's part of change. And this is something that we resisted for quite a while, for a long time. But now we're used to it. We're used to it now that we've got different designs, different kinds of face masks. That is change. And that's what's happening. So we can be afraid, but we have to embrace change. And then the last one I'd like to make mention is, if you do not change, you can become extinct. I think it ties into my first point of saying that making yourself relevant. If you insist on still staying where you are or still doing the same thing, there is the possibility that you will be extinct. Your business might be extinct. Your job might be extinct. I was watching a program the other day. I think I don't know many of us. I like watching The Chase. Chase is one of my best game shows, and there was a documentary on about 3 of the chasers going to China, and there was this activity about them competing with robots, and the robots were like taking over everything we were doing. They were like doing all the jobs, all the tasks, and one of the chasers said, "Wow, it's like they're taking over everything we're doing. So where does that leave us? Where does that leave us?" But I remember the chaser, she made one valid point that stuck with me, and I shared it with my son. She said, oh, yeah, if it does happen that robots are taking over most of the things that we are doing, I prefer them to, let them get on with it. Let them get on and do the boring aspects of the job, while that gives us more time to think. So yes, that is change. That is something that will always happen. So we don't have to be extinct. We just need to think better. So even if things happen and we have robots that are doing tasks, we don't need to be afraid, really. In fact, that's changed my own perspective. I used to be like, oh, if robots are now taking over, they're taking over the admin, they're taking over the retail. But you know what? People will always be needed. So I think it's about us using our initiatives a bit more, our intelligence a bit more, having time to think. And I think we have less of that because we are so busy. We're so busy that we don't really have time to reflect. So let's reflect. Let's look at where we are, and so that we can hold on to the cheese, we can have better cheese. So go back and read Spencer Johnson's book, Who Moved My Cheese? It's a powerful one. And I think it will motivate you a bit more, and you can learn a bit more, and we can engage a bit more, and we can impact a lot more. So thank you for listening to me today. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you.